who these people are. I don't know if they're like some bad Benjaminites. Are they Indians? I have no idea. And let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of Haggai the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given to them. Oh my gosh. Now, I have no idea who these people are. He reigned from India to Ethiopia. That's who he is. And let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti. Oh my goodness. This sounds like it belongs in some type of Indian text somewhere. Let's see why. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. Now in Shushan the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Yair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther. Wait a minute. We're going to totally have to find out what her name means and everything, because Hadassah, as we know, means myrtle, right? And Aravah means willow. So this is good. We have some good interest here besides all those dark things in the beginning. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So, if I was paying attention, I would remember who Esther is, because I'm sure they brought her up before. Why are there foghorns in it? Like, what time is it? Like 1 o'clock? It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is like 90 degrees outside. The sun. They have a heat warning today. I just saw some old lady pass out. Older woman pass out at the post office. And the foghorn's going off. Yeah, everybody's doing their job around here. I don't know. I don't know who this is. We'll find out. But it sounds familiar, right? Doesn't it sound like somebody before that was like... Remember there was some woman, and like this lady, they're saying her people were dead, and everybody died, and then somebody took her in, and then like she went somewhere and became the queen because the guy really liked her, the king. This has to be it. So this guy Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house. So the custody of Haggai, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. And the maiden pleased Esther had not shewed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had changed her, that she should not shew it. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did, and what should become of her. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go in to King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the women, for so were the days of their purification accomplished, to wit 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women. Oh my goodness. Then thus came every maiden unto the king. You know, what if people just like open the Bible and they start like reading this, and this will just, you know, people that are kind of, well, people, let's just say people like to develop their own religions, like all kinds of people. It's all based in some skewed form, right, on this book. So, you know, people probably get ideas. You're like, oh, that's how, what you have to do. You have to be 6 months with myrrh oiled all over, and 6 months with sweet odors. This is just weird and wrong, and this is some king that I've never heard of before. Ahasuerus. He's lifting out all these edicts, but let's see now. Esther's gonna come on in and change his mind. Let's see. Then thus came every maiden unto the king, whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the women unto the king's house. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned in the second house of the women to the custody of Shaashgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king, she required nothing but what Hegai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house, royal, in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Oh wow, what happened to her? He's like, you better show up to my party. Don't even, can you imagine if that ever happened again with anybody else? Oh my goodness, this guy. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet shewed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. Oh, we're not going to find out till the next chapter, maybe. those days when Mordecai sat in the king's gate, 2 of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. They might want to get 2 other people. Well, what's going on with these 2 guys? Just remember their names. It's not going to be the last time. The keepers of the door. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. Oh. So, they're snitching. And getting points for snitching. And Mordecai is getting points for snitching. And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out, therefore, they were both hanged on a tree. And it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king. So I'm sure that's where I'll go back to find the story of Esther. This didn't sound like the same one. That one was like, I just picture that one. It was somebody outside, like on the road. And you know who I'm talking about? I think it's Ruth. Yeah, I'm talking about Ruth. That's who. Gotta be. Right? And then she kept going to the threshing floor to get some food. She was living with the only person left. And then he saw her. And he's like, hey, come over here anytime and get, whatever you like. And then that's how they met. And then she became the queen too, right? Ruth? But I'll still go back and have to find out what Chronicles says about Esther, because I do not remember. But, that's interesting. Hadassah. Esther, Hadassah. Maybe, like, Esther, no, it's not going to be because it's Hebrew, right? But maybe it's, like, after a botanical, like, a flower. Doesn't it just sound like a flower, the name Esther? I mean, I know it's a chemical name. But to call it Hadassah, whatever botanical it is, it's the Myrtle and the Esther. That's going to be a fun thing to look up.